Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Shadowverse. Now, normally I would be doing the story mode for this game since I don't exactly take this game too seriously, but I have been interested in trying rank ladder on this game, and these are, as you can see in the background here, I have two decks at the ready, and these are the decks that I've been playing on the unlimited ladder, by the way, because the decks there are way cheaper compared to the ones on the rotation ladder. It's like there's like a times 3 difference in terms of price tag, and I simply cannot afford that kind of money, unfortunately. But so I had to settle with these two in particular. These are the cheapest among the bunch, and I have more success with one compared to the other. And also, the reason why I'm doing this one first is because this is my waifu deck of choice. And if you've seen the thumbnail, well, you probably know why. And also, I have an excuse to post the entire lyrics of You Are a Pirate by A.L. Storm in the description. So do with that what you will. But here, with the first of two decks that I will be showcasing that I use on the rank ladder. First up is Pirates, or as some other people call it, Loot Pirates. But main game plan, primary win con, honestly, get the Tidal Gunner as soon as possible. She is the win con of the deck. Everyone else is either removal or ways to extend past stuff that your opponent is doing. That's honestly the purpose of the other named characters here, like Rogers and Barbaros herself, who is, by the way, apparently the actual captain of the pirate crew, at least lore-wise. I did some bit of research, but I have to keep diving into it unless I'm completely wrong with Barbaros. But she is featured heavily in a lot of pirate art, so there's that. Unless I'm also wrong about that too. I may be misremembering. But here we are with my build, and this is a build that I actually had to change over time. Because some of the cards in it are definitely for meta call. Were definitely meta calls at the time, but this game, in the rank ladder in particular, it changes on a monthly basis, which honestly surprised me at first, because when it changes, the changes are you can feel the changes right away. Because when I started out on the rank ladder, I was facing off against a lot of Haven, Blood, and Shadow. Those were the most common decks on the rank ladder, and I mean, they were absurdly powerful, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But I eventually settled in, and it just took me a month to fully grasp all of the concepts that the game, the actual game rather, has. And the game is surprisingly easy. I think I'm not going to go over the basics of that. I'll just go over the card by card as to why my choices are the way they are. So this deck I originally net decked it, of course, because I had no idea how what decks are good, or at the very least decent, in Shadowverse, since I literally just started in January of 2024, and I changed this deck over time. This is a staple across all of the decks that have a surprisingly small core. The core of this deck is like I said, just really small, because it just involves the pirates themselves, mainly Deep Sea Scout, Tidal Gunner, Barbaros, your Deep Sea Scout, and of course Rogers. These are the most important pirates of the deck, and you can basically build everything else around them. The other neutral cards that was in here, one of them was Dawn of Splendor, which is an angel, similar to Glistering Angel here, where she basically nerfs the attack power of cards with Storm, which is this game's version of Haste. And it gives -2, -0, which doesn't seem like a lot, but believe me when I say that -2 is huge in a game like this. And but unfortunately over time, I realized that that card in particular is in response to Hozumi Forest, which is a deck that I very rarely see on the rank ladder. I see more Shadow, Blood, and Havencraft more than any other class in this game. And I had to cut it. I had to cut it because I don't see Hozumi Forest. It's apparently not that popular. Heck, Forestcraft in particular is not very well represented, and honestly, so is Swordcraft. I don't see this clan often, clan craft, whichever. So we're going to get into card by card now and explain why my choices are the way they are. Glistering Angel, a lot of decks, basically delaying them for one turn is honestly really good. Her evolved form just destroys an enemy follower. It's as simple as that. And she is a 1-drop with Ward. Sometimes that is honestly all you need in order to stall out long enough in order to, you know, outlast your opponent. Because this deck is a control deck. Nothing more. And all you have to do is establish a bunch of blockers, which this deck has a lot of, as I've tuned this deck over time. And this Glistering Angel is the only one that stayed from the original deck list that I copied. So we're going to go over the followers first, and then we'll get to the spells after the fact. Up next, Tidal Gunner, the main win con of the deck. This deck, by the way, has a freaking lot of draw power. Either by searching via... Wait, where was it? There. Either by Pampas Summons or Sunny Day Encounter. There are a lot of ways to get to Tidal Gunner, and what she does is, when she enters the battlefield, yes, I will be using Magic the Gathering terms because it's honestly a lot easier. In fact, when she enters the battlefield, she puts a Gilded Goblet into your hand, and then a lot of the Loot Pirates have an additional effect where if you've fused or played at least 7 loot cards this match, you will put Dread Pirate's Flag instead, which is the biggest damage dealing tool that the Loot Pirates have. And then you're really after her for the second sentence here, where whenever you play a loot card, you deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower and then the enemy leader. Sometimes Tidal Gunner is a board wipe in and of herself, especially if you have like 9 loot cards in hand, and then you have her partnered up with Deep Sea Scout, and you could just continually refill your hand from there. Or otherwise, if you don't have that, by the time Tidal Gunner has done her thing, your opponent will be at a very low life total, because if you have nothing but Dread Pirate's Flag, your opponent will be very dead in just a few shots. So she's the main win con. She is always the one you're going to go for. Of note, never evolve her. Never waste evo points on her. She is not worth it. Use it only when the circumstances are very dire and you need to get rid of a follower immediately. Do not waste your evo points on her. It is better spent on other followers that you have in this deck, because all excuse me, because all she ever does and all she will ever do is just hang back and shoot everyone down. And reason why I chose this deck in particular, because she reminds me a little bit of Marin from Hololive. Next follower, this one is this slot is definitely to taste. Stormwrath First Mate. Some builds don't even have him anymore. In this slot, excuse me, you would rather have more ways to get to your win cons, or, you know, either get to Barbaros or Rogers or hell, even the Deep Sea Scouts. But to me, at the very least, he is basically a board wipe in a can. Because if you do evolve him, and that is probably the that's probably the biggest reason why he's no longer included in the deck, because for him to be really good, you need to evolve him. And if you don't evolve him, he will basically, I mean, he is an army in a can, but there is a big difference between having a Marine Raider, which is honestly slightly more powerful, because she has Follower Strike, where it deals 1 damage, so she's basically swinging for 3 every time. And Cannoneer on the other hand, she puts even more loot cards into your hand, and sometimes Stormwrath First Mate all by himself already fulfills the basic condition of playing or fusing 7 loot cards in order to have Dread Pirate's Flag into your in order to put Dread Pirate's Flag into your hand instead. And also, before I continue with the rest of this tech, I'm going to assume that you already know how to play Shadowverse. I've been babbling here for the past couple of minutes, and I realize some people here may not even play Shadowverse, so this is your disclaimer here and now before I completely forget about it. But going back, Stormwrath First Mate, this is definitely season to taste, but having an army in a can indeed help, but more often than not, I use this guy as a board wipe in a can. Up next, Rogers. This is a staple across all Loot Pirate builds, only as a one-of, because there are so many ways to search him. There are also so many ways to just put him into your hand, but with the well, there are only 6 at this point, but there used to be 8 8 ways to get Rogers into your hand. Hell, sometimes even 9, but that's dependent on the build. You're really after him for his evolved form, but his enter the battlefield trigger is also pretty decent because he basically costs 2. That's huge, because he recovers 2 play points and hell even puts a loot card into your hand. But you're really after him for his evolved form, where when you evolve him, you summon the Cannoneer, so immediately another loot card into your hand, and then it gives your leader the following effect, where wherever you play a loot card, and it has 2 parts. If it's the first you've played this turn, you recover 1 play point, so basically it's a free loot card. And then if you play a second loot card, you deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. So Rogers's emblem, I guess, if you're going to go by magic terms, combined with Tidal Gunner here, is usually more than enough of a combination to put the opponent down. And that's honestly all Rogers ever does. Never play him for his accelerate cost unless it's for extremely dire circumstances. Up next, we have Deep Sea Scout. She is a cutie. She's as cute as a button. I don't know why I tripped up on that so hard. But she is the main draw engine of the deck, where whenever you play a loot card, she draws a card for you. Do be careful when you have multiple copies of Deep Sea Scout, because you can draw into the maximum hand size, and you cannot keep drawing cards until you... rather, whenever you draw extra cards past the maximum hand size, they're just gone. They're just gone. You cannot get them back, and this deck has no way to recover anything that is thrown into wherever the trash pile is. I'm pretty sure they're just gone in the ether somewhere. And same thing with Tidal Gunner. Never evolve her. Although granted, she does get longer hair, which already adds to the cuteness factor even more. Although I think it's just her removing her the thing that's tying her hair back. So her hair may be a lot thicker than they're making it seem here, but she's really cute. But she's here for the draw power, and you wouldn't have it any other way. The other followers that we have in this deck, we have 3 neutral ones. The first one, again, this is also seasoned to taste, but she has proven to be very, very effective, at least in the meta that I'm playing at right now, given that I face off against a lot of Blood, Shadow, and Haven, because they basically need to attack twice in order to get rid of this extremely annoying blocker. And given that the paper game, I'm not quite sure if she's already in the paper game. I don't know if she is, because she is absurd. She's going to be absurdly broken if she ever gets released in the paper game. Although she's basically just here for her ward effect, and in dire circumstances you can evolve her, and given how much this deck draws, she can very easily reach 9 power, especially if the stars align and you have nothing else to do. She can very easily reach 9 power, and that's a clock in and of itself. But more often than not, you'll just use her for her blocking capabilities. Stall long enough until you get to your win cons. Up next, we have Goddess of Compassion. Her alongside Archangel of Evocation. These were both just one-ofs, but in the games that I've played, having 2 is surprisingly good, because you want to get to these 2 as soon as possible, especially when the situation arises. You'd want to have these in your hand as soon as possible. Although Goddess of Compassion, where you can evolve her so that she gives the enemy board -2/-2, which is all well and dandy, but you are mostly after her for the Goddess of Condemnation, where apart from giving enemy followers -5/-5, she increases your leader's maximum defense by 5 and restores 5 defense. So gain 5 and heal 5, which is an amazing rate, and it definitely helps against a lot of the other more aggressive decks in the current meta right now, especially against Bloodcraft. Good God, this angel has saved me from Bloodcraft more times than I can count. And in order to get her to transform into the Goddess of Condemnation, though, you do need to fuse her with two different spells, amulets, or neutral followers. So spells is basically everything else in this deck, or any of the neutral followers that you don't exactly need for the matchup. So a lot of the cards in here, especially the neutral ones, you can throw away in case the matchup doesn't call for it. Since this game is a best of one, you can just fuse it to the Goddess of Compassion. Of note, they need to be of different names. It's a lesson that I learned the hard way. I fused 2 loot cards of the same name just to clear up some space in my hand so that I won't destroy the next card that I draw. And she didn't transform into the Goddess of Condemnation. So keep that in mind when you're playing with her. It has to be two cards of different names in order for her to turn into the Goddess of Condemnation here. And just a one-of here in the deck, Barbaros, the Briny Convict. She is honestly a lot better if you fuse her with a loot card first, so that you're only really after her for the fact that she will destroy an enemy follower on evolve. That is honestly her one and only purpose in the deck. She is a cheap removal spell at 4 play points. That's honestly the very reason why she is in here. Although she does enter the battlefield with a Dread Pirate's flag, so that's 3 damage right then and there. So you're basically eliminating at the very least 2 followers with Barbaros, especially against decks that don't exactly have large followers that they put into play. Portalcraft is not one of them because sometimes they put up really big monsters sometimes. So there's that. But Barbaros all by herself can eliminate at the very least 2 other followers. And finally, Archangel of Evocation, another meta call. You're after him primarily for his like base form. I mean, the evolved form is also just as nice because he also gives a defense increase and also heals you, but you're more often than not you're after him for adding a tax to non-follower cards in your opponent's hand, and this can sometimes throw off the math of an opponent, especially against like I have won games against Dimension Shift Runecraft, and having the +1 after they've reduced a lot of their cards for so much, it can sometimes give you enough breathing room in order to outlast them, and they're the best deck in the format right now, and with good goddamn reason. And now we move on to the spells. Grand Acquisition, a 3 of. Some decks only run 2 of this. I honestly think they're more right than that, but more often than not, I just play this for 1 just so that I can have a gilded a loot card into my hand. And then the upside of enhance 6, so if you have 6 play points, you can have all 4 of these loot cards in your hand, and then you recover 6, so it's basically a free spell. It can be a little bricky. You're basically spending 2 play points in order to use a loot card. Sometimes it's a bit much, but more often than not, at the very in my experience at least, sometimes it's worth the squeeze. Up next, a Swordcraft staple, Dramatic Retreat. You banish an allied follower, you put a copy of that follower into the deck and change its cost to 0, and then you draw 2 cards. Sometimes you draw into the follower that you banish right away. That is dependent on the case, but usually your target for this is Tidal Gunner, especially if you did not kill your opponent that turn. So just putting her back into the deck and then drawing 2 cards. Sometimes you draw her back. And she's already going to cost 0. The game will let you know that, hey, you're going to draw something really cheap and you can still cast, so there's that. But otherwise, this is a really good draw spell for the Swordcraft clan. Up next, Ultimate Hollow, the only apparently loot card that is a spell that isn't generated by any one of the pirates here. Apart from the fact that it's a loot card, it's also a removal spell. On its floor, it deals 2 damage. That is sometimes more than enough. But if you fused or played at least 4 other loot cards, you deal 4 instead, and you also heal a bit. It may not seem like a lot, but sometimes, and by the time you get to that point where you heal 4, sometimes you don't really need it at that point. and you're already winning. And it's really sad that you cannot target this to an enemy, where some cards have that. So you can target this to not just the enemy follower, but you can also target it to the leader as well. But honestly, the floor of this card is pretty goddamn good, and it's also a loot card, so it already triggers a lot of the other cards that we have in this deck. Next, we have Haggler's Gambit. There are points where I have considered cutting this from the deck, but it does give a really good loot card in Gilded Boots, which gives Rush, and Rush is basically your secondary form of removal in this deck, and you wouldn't have it any other way. And the gamble of subtracting 1 from the cost, so if you draw Deep Sea Scout off of Haggler's Gambit, she will cost 0, and that is an amazing rate. So it's basically you using Haggler's Gambit in order to play in order to pay for the cost of a Deep Sea Scout for free, or any of the other plethora of 1-drops in this deck, because it subtracts 1 from the cost of any card. Moving on to the other spells in this deck, Pampa Summons. Its primary purpose, alongside Sunny Day Encounter, they're just here to draw. They're just draw ones. 1 mana, 1 play point, draw 1. It adds a random Swordcraft follower from your deck to your hand. Pampa Summons has an additional effect tacked onto it, where Rally 10. So if you've played 10 followers this match, you put 2 Swordcraft followers into your hand instead. And then Sunny Day Encounter, you recover 1 play point. So it's basically free. And then Sunny Day Encounter does have an additional effect where if you have any other Natura cards in hand, you put a Nateran Grade 3 in hand. So it's another source of card draw, and you don't really need a lot of bodies on board. At least in my experience with this deck, you usually only have like 3 to 4 bodies at any given time. And the 5th slot, if you do manage to draw into a Nateran Grade 3, you can just sacrifice them, because if you have any other Nateran Grade 3s, so you basically plop 1 down and then you sacrifice that and then you draw a card. So it's basically 1 mana draw 2 if you have other Natura cards in hand. And the last spell of the deck, Usurping Spineblade. It's 2 mana, deal 3. Lightning Strike is standard playable in Magic the Gathering. What makes this any less good? Well, it's actually even better, because it adds an artifact to your hand. But going back to Shadowverse terms, it adds a random loot card into your hand, and it's really goddamn good. And I'm just realizing now it's the same chick from Ultimate Hollow, which is interesting. So that is the deck tech, and now we're going to sing You Are a Pirate by Ailstorm ad nauseum. We'll see you guys in the games. Okay, and I turned on the random backgrounds for this game, and my opponent is definitely flexing their money here. Good God, with a limited character. Oh God, Karin. That's Karin, right? We'll know after the fact. So we have 2 removal spells against Havencraft, and I'm going second. Ooh. I think I'd rather put Dramatic Retreat back into the deck and have these 2 removal spells at the ready, just in case my opponent does something. Unless, of course, their internet says otherwise, because they're rocking One Punch Man sleeves, which I did not know were in the game. That is cool. If my opponent's internet doesn't get any better, this is at the very least a free win for us. Otherwise, we will proceed with this duel once my opponent decides, or rather, once my opponent's internet cooperates. So we'll be back either at the next duel already, because my opponent's internet failed them, or we're going to continue with this one. So I'll see you guys there. Okay, we're in the next game, and unfortunately, my opponent's internet did indeed fail them, but we are up against... Oh my God, girl. Lumi! Why did it have to be you? We don't know what flavor of Dragoncraft they are on just yet, but definitely Glistering Angel is absolutely unnecessary for this matchup in particular, because in Unlimited, Dragoncraft only comes in 4 flavors at the very least. So we're about to find out which one they are. Having a removal tool is nice, but we're gonna need something better than that. Okay, Pampa Summons, give me Deep Sea Scout. That is not Deep Sea Scout. Hopefully we survive until the next turn. We don't know what flavor of Dragoncraft they are just yet. It's just one of 4 possibilities. We're gonna find out depending on the first card that they play, if at all, because if there's anything I know about Dragoncraft decks, a lot of their cards cost a lot, and they get around it by having basically what green X decks do in Magic the Gathering, where they ramp a
この
lot.
勝利を誇りなさい。
I guess my opponent bricks.
褒めたたえるといいぞよ。
I guess we're going to keep up this win streak, quote unquote. Which is honestly a refreshing change of pace, because just so you guys know, Swordcraft right now is well, at least in my personal experience, this deck is 50-50 when it comes on the rank ladder. I win more with my Dragoncraft deck, or at the very least, I make it very close with my opponent compared to Swordcraft, because my Dragoncraft deck is essentially a combo deck, while Swordcraft is a control deck, and the mindsets that you have to do between the two of them are very, very different from one another. You basically have to hang back as much as possible when you're playing with this build in particular. You have to treat it like a control deck, and you have to play it very, very slowly and very deliberately. And also, it helps if you know what your opponent is rocking, and that's why this deck is definitely not for the faint of heart, even though it's my waifu deck of choice. But a win is a win. That's 2 in a row where one conceded and the other one disconnected. So I just hope I at least get one duel in this recording. So I'll see you guys in the next duel. I mean, I'm treating this like Yu-Gi-Oh, but we'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, let's see what my opponent is going to be on. Oh god, Portal Craft. And it's a Spinaria player. One thing that you intuit over time is, depending on the leader that they have, that usually indicates the type of deck that they're playing. And Spinaria, this is usually one of the more meta builds of Portal Craft. If the robot dog comes out at any point, we are definitely facing off against one of the better decks in the format. It will be a very, very hard uphill battle from here. Although, if not, we will be having one hell of a time here. They don't really invoke a lot, because what invocation does is it plays the card directly from the deck if they meet specific requirements. This deck doesn't really do that, so Glistering Angel here is either a one mana blocker, or she can destroy something when she evolves. So we'll get to that when we get there. For now, I used Pompous Summons there, and I drew Deep Sea Scout, so we will be drawing more cards as this game goes along. But this is definitely a sign that this is a meta deck, all right. Wing Evangelist, yeah, we have a meta player here. So, Deep Sea Scout, get down there. Draw me cards. Yeah, draw me one card at least. And Ultimate Hollow, that's removal for next turn. She will definitely kill this, so I might as well put it into my own hands. And there we go. And also, it makes it easier for Tidal Gunner to kill it, or I could have just used Ultimate Hollow, but my hand is pretty stacked right now. Because if I didn't she would have probably just attacked it using what was her name again? Oh god, Elena here. All right. Okay. So this where it gets tricky, because he has a 3/4, and it will be able to attack next turn. We have one of two options. We can either throw one down with Bellringer Angel just to stall, or we can just reach for the stars and risk this Tidal Gunner getting killed. I do not want that. So we'll just put down Glistering Angel just as a blocker, and then we will eliminate these two. I guess this. So that is a loot card played. And then wait. What does this do? It's a burial right. Okay, Elena, she's already done her job, honestly. And so has Vermidia. Oh god. The names in this game. I think we should just get rid of the highest blocker, honestly. More than anything else. I mean, that's usually the more correct choice. Kill the one that deals more damage. That's 2 loot cards. perfectly wasted, as some people might think, but I
my
think it's worth it, at least
静かな開口
for this specific juncture.
果たせた
Okay, so we saved a little bit of life points from that. We're getting a lot of bell ringers. Sunny day encounter. Draws something useful. Barbaros is something. So we'll grant acquisition. We'll put a goblet in hand. And then we'll put one of the bell ringers. Alright. Try and attack me now, opponent. Alright. You basically have to attack twice in order to get rid of my ward blocker. And then if we do end up having a better loot card in hand. Oh dear God, it removed her abilities. Oh no.
ガンガンの速さで
That's
駆
what
け
it
つ
does
け
on
て
entry. Yeah, remove all effects on enemy followers except changes to their attack or defense. So they just removed my blocker. Well, shit.
生まれた理由
Oh my God.
知らない
銀の盾
So they just removed the
洞
card.
窟の水がね
Automaton. Okay, yep.
幸
There.
せにな
She
るんだ
still
よ
attacked it, even though I no longer have a blocker, which is interesting. So, we're not going to do that one just yet. We'll put one more
幸
blocker
せよ
down.
届けリンゴ
And then, since this deals 3, we might as well get rid
道は
of
しません
調整しない
this
と
slightly more damage. These two have already done their jobs, so we don't really need to do anything with that. This is a problem, but again, they need to attack twice in order to kill the Bellringer Angel. And we'll just fuse the Gilded Blade with Barbaros here, just in case something more problematic comes down next turn. So we pass back to our opponent, and the one thing that I've grown to like about Shadowverse is it's very bam, 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 bam. You know, the pacing is really, really nice. You don't get to spend too much time thinking because the game notifies you otherwise. You spend too much time thinking. So this is, I believe, the third Keen Edge artifact already. Okay, yep, summoning Eon.
静かな開
That's,
口
I believe, one of their boss monsters. And, yep. So eliminates all of those. And I believe that's part of the
お願い
the thing that makes him
振り落ちるわ。
read the
巣に
card.
なるその時ま
So
で
all of her,
幸せになるんだよ
recover X play points, so he's basically free depending on what you have. And then, in return, if followers draw 3 cards, authority to run them, and if followers recover 1 equal point. Okay. So can he be destroyed? Eon, Destiny's Hand. What else does he do? End of your turn. If okay, so we'll just eliminate him the old-fashioned way. So we'll fuse Barbaros with the Gilded Blade, which meets her minimum requirement of being able to
大曲
evolve
時
for
だ
0.
僕らの時間だ
So Barbaros does her thing. Yes, we have Dread Pirate's flag. We will evolve her. Yes, and we will kill Eon.
勝つのはこの
No,
僕
that has nothing to do with Ghostbusters. I am sorry to
悪
say.
意悪
So
徳
Eon,
許さなくていい。
they've done their job. And then, we could just, poke in with Dread Pirate's flag, more than anything else. But I'm going to save it for Tidal Gunner. For now, we'll just put down a
天使とは
blocker just in case
生死
they
の意
put
味を
something else down because they still have 5 cards in hand. And then we will do something that is a completely normal play in this deck. We will ask Barbaros to retreat. There we go. So we draw 2 cards, and that's actually pretty decent. All right. So this is this version of the deck in action. Just picking your spots, knowing when to retreat, well,
役目
pretty
の外
literally
に
in
見
this
つけた
case.
幸せ
So we have Lazuli, okay, just putting 2 artifacts into the deck, sure, and then drawing a card in the process. So they're pretty stocked up. I'm not sure how much, but I have seen a build of Portalcraft that uses, I believe, Mobilize Factory, where they would just
果たせた
just keep drawing cards, and they never realize that they are completely out of cards in deck. So we will load no. The voices are fine,
Shadowverse
but the sound effects aren't, because the sound effects can get really loud in this game. So we drew. Oh, she? Oh wait, no, she's not in her evolved form. So this is going to be a problem later. Actually no. Eternal Dogma, Keen Edge Artifact. Should we just put down Tidal Gunner? I guess we should. Yeah. More than anything else. It's just a way to clear the board and finally damage my opponent somewhat.
潮風が恋し
So we
い
do
ね
that. Then we add Goblet. And now, oh, she's for 0? Really? That's interesting. Oh, right, because of because of dramatic retreat. Okay. So we'll use Gilded Goblet. We'll restore 2 of our defense. And ping someone. And then we'll use Dread Pirate's Flag. 3 damage to something. Damage to my opponent. And then we will use another goblet. I mean, not that it matters, but we will get rid of both of the bodies my opponent has on board. And then we will use Haggler's Gambit because we love to gamble. And this spells the end of this copy of Tidal Gunner, so we're just going to pass. So we can use Barbarossa's ability again. We just need to fuse her with the Gilded Boots. And one thing of note, in case you guys aren't too familiar with Shadowverse, if you evolve a follower, they gain Rush, which allows them to attack into a follower right away. And of course, yes, eliminating the gunner is the right choice. Okay, Sylvia. Okay, sure, recover all evil points, which is just 2. Okay, they're going to evolve, which is gonna hurt. Ow. And it's swinging for 6 as well. Yeah, damage. Number 3 points to deal 1, which is not going to... Well, it's going to kill some of my things, but not all of it. So, let's see what this does. Okay, yep, Eternal Dogma. It's just restore life points, and then we do a thing. So we will fuse the Gilded Boots, and because we have 7 play points, or PP, as we call it around these parts, so we'll summon Barbaros for the 7, for the full 7. And then that will give her Storm. And I turned on all of the animations for this, and it's amazing. Okay, so Barbaros, yep, eliminating the one with Ward. And then, should we just attack directly? And why did... oh, right. Right. I forgot that she recovers 3 play points. I forgot she does that. So, take 7. Ouch. Ouch for you, less for me. So we use Usurping Spine Blade, and then we'll use Dread Pirate's Flag because we can't exactly do anything else. And then we'll play Bellringer Angel just as a way to protect Barbaros here. Then we'll pass. This is one of those cases where we don't need to evolve Bellringer Angel, and oh my god, we do indeed. This is definitely a game now where they start invoking from their deck. Yep, yeah, this is the World Eliminators and the Magisterial Dreadnoughts. Oh boy, we are definitely in the end game now. Oh boy. Okay. So we need to outlast this if at all possible. They are down to 6 and they haven't been able to touch my life totals, so I mean, they could bounce back at any given time. It's expensive. They have to cast that rather than invoking it. Holy shit. So that means they had one of these in hand. And there's one more in the deck, or another one is in their hand as well. You'd rather invoke this because casting something for free is honestly a lot better than paying for it. But let's see what this does. Let's see what else my opponent is. Okay, dealing 2 to me. And will you attack into the Bellringer Angel and draw me a card? Oh no! You will instead deal 7 damage. Okay, sure. That is totally respectable. Okay, yep, Radiant Artifact has Storm. Alright. So that's that. Sure. Wow, really? Using that instead. That seems to be a waste. Okay, using this to eliminate Barbaros. Okay, that's fine. You could have just attacked me instead, but okay, sure. Opponent. Okay, yep, okay. We now have 9 PP. Reduce next damage taken to 0, but we don't really need that. Unfortunately, we may need to do this. Usurping Spine Blade is not useful in this current juncture, so we'll just fuse it with the goddess here. And then we'll give my opponent's board -5, -5. There we go. And then that will cause this Dreadnought to not attack profitably. And we'll just use the last card, study the encounter, hopefully draw into something. That is something. Okay, so we're still in it. Oh my god, that is Gucci. Sad that it reduces the next damage taken to 0. Yeah, Blazing Barrage does that. That is sad, but okay. If any bodies survive on board, it's going to be really good. But should we evolve this and just kill this? That is indeed the question. I believe we should. I believe we should. So we'll evolve the
伝説
angel.
になるん
Don't
だ
normally, guys. I'm warning you right now. You shouldn't
無
normally
限
do
の
this,
過
but
ち
having an attacker on
これが
board,
最後
just eliminate it. Just eliminate it. If you're not going to do anything else, just don't. Okay. So killing that thing puts Ruiner of Eden into the deck. So that's the next thing they're going to invoke now. Yep. This is definitely summons 3 World Eliminators instead. Okay. Yep. That is to be expected.
古傷開く。
静かな
Summon
開
Eon
口
again, so I should be filling both those, sure. Calamity's End, yep. Then you gain all of that life, sure. So they're almost back up to full, and I managed to reduce them down to single digits earlier, so yeah. This deck is meta for, well, this clan is meta for okay, yep, they're basically in the end game now, and I believe I just lost. I only have 1 card in hand. I haven't been drawing too hot, and yeah, we can definitely call it here. Because in a couple of turns, we will definitely be dead. But let's see our draw first. See if we'll. Yeah, we're just going to move on to the next match. Okay, let's see what my next opponent holds for us, and they are Shadowcraft. So there are only 2 possible flavors of Shadowcraft. It's either Burial Rite Shadowcraft or
ルナを守ってね
some other variant whose name escapes my mind right now. We unfortunately do not have the resources to fuse this right now, but let's just hope Deep Sea Scout carries us to victory here. Having 2 is not bad, but I would have definitely preferred something else. So we draw for turn, and we'll play one of the scouts.
大海原を
Let's
突き動
see what we get. If she even survives, which I highly doubt she will, but this is Shadowcraft. They'd rather just play with themselves rather than eliminate onboard threats, if any at all.
ネクロマ流は邪
So
剣にあら
this
ず
is definitely a variant of Burial Rite. It's not the Lord Atomy deck at all. So we'll just play Gilded Boots. We'll draw 1 card first before we attack. Okay, that's good. We'll swing for our 1. And we will make her retreat. We'll draw 2 cards, and that is pretty good. But I'd rather have it be something else. So okay. So what does our opponent do now? Devil Death. That is something I don't see very often. Okay. It does give them Shadow, so that is the main mechanic of the Shadowcraft clan. What do we do from here? Okay. I think we should just gamble. Let's see what Haggler's Gambit has for us here. Okay, we got an Ultimate Hollow. Then I believe we'll just use Pampa Summons here. See who we get. Okay, we get the discounted Deep Sea Scout back. We're just going to pass. We're gonna hold all of these cards until the last possible moment. Let's see what my opponent does. Okay, Asuka and Shiori. Honestly, I find it really funny that the fact that most people include this in the deck simply for the draw tooth. They're using this for the absolute floor, and then the second sentence is just cherry on top. It's
大
amazing.
海原を突き動かす
So for 0, and then we will use the discounted Ultimate Hollow.
恐れて乾く
Take 2, draw 1, and then should we put Tidal Gunner down? I don't think so. I don't quite remember if this version of Shadowcraft invokes. So we're just going to draw cards here. So we'll use Sunny the Encounter. What do we get? Another Tidal Gunner. That is somebody that I'd rather not have at this current juncture. Unless we draw something else. We're just going to put down a Ward Follower. So that we can keep the Deep Sea Scout safe. And we're just gonna pass. Yeah. This is the control deck mindset for me. Just holding it back. Don't just play into your opponent's shit. You know, because leaving bodies on board can sometimes be detrimental. Okay, yep. Okay, so she no longer has her protective quote-unquote barrier. Okay, yep. Summoning her again, but she doesn't gain her draw to. That's interesting. Oh, I guess they also realized that. Why didn't it work? I mean, it's a fanfare ability, but I guess I wasn't able to read the card in time. I'll probably check it in post to see what that card does, and we're on a pretty good streak. I mean, granted, the first two matches, well, I call them matches, but I think it's just honestly a lot easier to call it duels because it's just a best of one. One surrendered and the other disconnected, but we're on a pretty good streak right now, and I'm honestly really happy for it because, like I said earlier, this deck struggles a lot on the rank ladder compared to my Dragoncraft deck, but we're gonna keep this good streak going, so let's move on to the next duel. Okay, almost forgot to turn on the microphone, and a fellow Dragoncraft enjoy hello good sir, using default Rowan. So that's already fortifying, and we do not need all of these in hand right now, again, especially against Dragoncraft, because it could be any one of four. Okay, this is not that much better, honestly. But at least we're going second, so we'll at least draw two cards. Okay, so it's this deck in particular. I call it Big Butts Dragon, because all it ever does is give your Dragoncraft followers +1 to their toughness. At least I hope that's what they're called. It invokes Tarask, I believe, and once they reach a critical mass of defense, they just swing in for huge amounts of damage. Okay, so I don't believe they invoke this early. Glistering Angel will definitely be useful for later. If not for stopping invocations, at the very least, we can use her to kill a follower. So we're going to play a Deep Sea Scout here. Then we'll play a Gilded Boots and draw a additional card. That's what we get. We get a Dramatic Retreat, which would have been useful in my hand right now so that I can make her retreat. But I guess we'll just use it on the next Deep Sea Scout. So let's see what my opponent has. Just skipping, okay. Allowing me a point of damage. So that's going to happen. We're going to use this. We're going to put Gilded Necklace because we can. Then we will draw one card. Give it +2/+2. We got a Tidal Gunner. Okay, and since we cannot do anything else, we'll just draw two cards. Hopefully we get her back. No, we do not. All right, we're gonna hoard all of these cards in hand until my opponent does something a lot more significant. So let's see. Okay, yep, still ramping, opponent. You are already 2 turns ahead of me. Oh my God. We'll use Pampa Summons. Let's see who we get. Another Deep Sea Scout. Please stop, opponent, or rather, game, please. Stop throwing me cards. That was a wasted thing, but I don't want to leave the Deep Sea Scouts just hanging out there, unfortunately. So we'll just put down a ward follower, just in case they try and do something funny. So opponent is already a full 2 turns ahead of me because they ramped twice. Let's see what other big butt payoff they potentially have, unless they bricked, which is also a possibility. Okay, open it back. Using him for his, I believe that's the accelerate cost, where he just deals 3 damage to something. Okay, sure. We're going to use Guiding Bell Ringer right now. Doggos are angry. No. And we should just try and draw cards here. We shouldn't be afraid. We shouldn't be too afraid. And we're going to give it to her. And there's the 0 cost Deep Sea Scout. Cool. Do we draw 2 additional cards and bring our hand size back up to full? Absolutely not. We will be able to play at least 1 Tidal Gunner should my opponent not kill the Deep Sea Scout. Although we do have the 0 cost, the one that has been 0. Okay, yep. 5 damage, sure, that bypasses blocks. And then I believe this also gives Big Butt energy. Yes, yeah, okay. So now we will summon the Tidal Gunner, which has the Gilded Goblet. We will also play the Deep Sea Scout, which adds a Gilded Boots. Okay, we will now I think this is a bit much. We can evolve now, though.
天使とは
So
戦
that's
士の異名
something. So we put this down. Then we will evolve her, yes, and we will just kill it.
勝つのはこ
Now,
の
6
僕
toughness is a bit much, honestly.
人の世には下ろさない
So there we go. I think I should have used Ultimate Hollow first before I did all of that, but it's already been done. Okay, and at least her 3 toughness can matter. Okay, we drew a really good card in Dramatic Retreat. So we'll give it to the Cannoneer, Cannoneer, Gunner, whichever. Now what do we do? Well, Sunny Day.
さあ一緒
What
に
do we get? Rogers. Alright, that's good for later. I can't believe we already hit the rally. We'll use Papa Summons. And then we will use Dramatic Retreat. There we go. So, Tidal Gunner for later. Draw 2 cards. Okay, that is actually really goddamn good. Alright. So, again, that was definitely a misplay. I should have used Ultimate Hollow first before using Glistering Angel to finish the job. But it's already been done. So, Chronos.
世界を回せ
One of the, I believe, newer cards that was added in an update, if I remember correctly. What did he do? Did he just... Wait, what does it do? Give the follower draw cards equal to the attack of the strongest allied follower in play. At the end of your turn. Yeah. So, I will draw 4. So, I will basically be milled out. Great. So, he doesn't have blocks.
泣き叫べ
So,
鏡ます
I'll just swing in for 3. And then, we'll use Ultimate Hollow.
恐れて乾く
時は
I should have put down the Tidal Gunner. We're not going to make that
潮
mistake again.
風が恋しいね
There we go. Alright. Now we put down I guess we just put down Rogers.
あと海原
There we go. So that we can
Oh,
get the
again,
additional
Idome.
effect. Okay, that's a Gilded Goblet, and then we will evolve him. There we
超
go.
えてみせる
It gives us the Cannoneer, but she is
青海原は
unfortunately
俺
not
様の庭
happening. What we're after here is the card draw. So we will restore defense. This is basically there we go.
そこだ
And then we will use another goblet. Or we do it next turn. Hold on. Still have 1. And then using this. Or should we just save Rogers? Interesting. But I think I'd rather save the gunner. Rogers has done his job by giving me his emblem, so he doesn't need to give me any more. Although we might just die to deck out because his deck is a lot better than mine unless I kill him this turn.
沈まねえさ
So this is definitely a variation of Big Butts Dragons now, with Chronos as the win con. So I need to kill this thing, which is possible, all things considered.
これで決める
Okay, yep. Attacking into my ward follower, which is to be expected.
果たせた
Or not. Okay, sure. Attacking into that, which honestly doesn't matter. He probably should have just waited. Okay. Shit, that was a waste. So we'll summon the Tidal Gunner, of course.
潮風が恋しいね
Go, which adds Dread Pirate's flag already, so that's already nice.
恐れて乾く
Then that
そこだ
happens. And then we'll use Dread Pirate's flag.
そこだ
There we go. There we go. And then we will draw cards anyway, so I think we might as well go full ham. Unless he has non-follower cards in his hand, which is also a possibility. I will definitely... Well, I'll only draw 2 cards since there's now only 1 follower in play. So, I'll just use Grand Acquisition to give this. And then just deal an additional point of damage. Maybe 2.
そこだ
And then Gilded Goblet on her. Doesn't matter. And then I guess Deep Sea Scout as well, or we just go Build Ringer here, because she's very vulnerable right now. I guess we just draw a card, bait out whatever it is my opponent has over there, and then sad that we lacked 1 point of damage there, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. All right. Hell, oh, we even got the Tidal Gunner back. Okay, I don't know how that happened, but okay, sure. I drew 3, opponent. What about you? How good is your hand right now?
我が入
Ah,
部
there
し
it is.
てやろう
Gunbin. 10 toughness. Holy shit, that is thick. All right. Okay. Yep. Will you swing for 7, or you do realize, opponent, that I can literally just, you know, quite literally fly over a lot of your ward.
私を
Unless
求
of course
め
you
て書き込む
stop me right here, right now.
覚悟はいいか
I will draw 7, unfortunately.
私以外は一口もない。
My opponent right now needs to basically get
独眼竜の方向に震えよ
life in order to survive. So that's something. All right, cool.
最高だ
Okay, yep. And then okay. So we draw our 1, and the next draw is surely going to
潮
pass.
風が恋しい
So
ね
we play the one that costs 0. And then we will use Usurping Spine Blade on the one that has the least amount of
道
toughness.
はしません
So
試練は
that's
進むわ
that. And then we will use Dread Pirate's Flag.
そこだ
Then we will use Gilded Blade on this.
そこだ
Go. Oh my god. One more point. One more point. Oh my god. We need one more point.
一緒に
That is good enough. Barbaros. Oh my god. Oh no, we can't fuse. Okay. No. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. Okay. Because we'll get something out of this. Alright. Barbaros. Fusion. We'll fuse with the Gilded Boots. There we go. Alright. We won. That was a very tight margin right there. Holy shit.
大間が
Oh my
時
god.
だ
You made
僕
me
らの
nervous
時
for a
間
second there,
だ
deck. Oh my god. And we'll just evolve for the bad beats because we can. Unless, of course, killing Gunbin will restore health to my opponent somehow.
悪徳
But I
自由な
我が入部してやろう
Yep. And then Dread Pirate's Flag for the win? Question mark? And bam! Alright! Okay, so I won before I managed to deck myself out because he activated Chronos, and honestly, that was one hell of a nail biter. And we even got a pack reward. That's cool.
褒めたたえるといいぞ
You
よ
know, my strat with this game, any pack I open, I just break everything down. Because I've been looking up the other decks, and none of them quite interest me the way the Dragoncraft deck I will show next. By next, I mean either next week or 2 weeks from now. I don't know when that will come out. And then the pirate deck, because of all of the waifu decks, of course, it had to be the one with pirates. So, we're gonna keep going here. Let's move on to the next duel. One thing that I love about this game is that it's from the same people who give us Grand Blue Fantasy. The art in this game is expectedly stellar.
吐息がいてつき
Even the guest appearances by the other characters is nothing short of sublime. And my opponent is also another Dragoncraft user. Hello! Welcome to the club. Let's see what I draw. Glistening Angel is not something I need for this matchup, but it's a blocker at the very least. So let's see what I draw. Okay, Sunny Day Encounter. Give me Deep Sea Scout. That is not Deep Sea Scout, but that is a later problem that will be solved thanks to him. So let's see what my opponent has for us here. Do you have a 1-drop?
さあ
Fallen
行け
Angel's
人よ
Blessing. Okay, that is interesting. Is this the neutral only deck? Question
大
mark?
海原を突きゆが
I've seen that deck float around every once in a while. But let's see if this is indeed it. Okay, draw one, and it didn't exactly yield what I want to, but we're gonna see. I mean, if there's one thing that a lot of my opponents do, is that whenever they have an opportunity to kill Deep Sea Scout, they just shoot her right away, like no hesitation. So we are going to should we just do it like that? Yeah. So we'll play Grand Acquisition first. We're going to give her a necklace because she is a good girl and she deserves that. There we go. So that happens, and then Usurping Spine Blade. But right now you need to retreat. We will draw 2 cards. What do we get? Barbaros. That is for later. All right. Let's pass back to my opponent, and they haven't done anything for the past 3 turns now. So let's see what they have for us here. Playing something. They're using the they're finally ramping, so that's something. Usurping Spine Blade. Ugh. I don't want to play into anything just yet. So we'll just use Sunny Day Encounter to tutor something up. Okay, then let's gamble. Goddess of Condemnation. That is something, but not exactly important at this very moment. Then we'll just use
Taste
because, I don't want to hang Deep Sea Scout out there to be all vulnerable like. Because she is very, very prone to getting her ass handed to her. So let's see what my opponent's gonna do. They've barely done anything. They've only played 2 cards this game so far. Okay, there's Silong, a card that I used to have in my Minecraft deck. The build I've actually only changed the build slightly. Ever since the build that I originally copied it from. But you guys will just see that when you see it. For now, we are surprisingly surviving against this deck. Okay, so now we're going to do the Barabaros thing, where we fuse her with the Gilded Boot. And then we will play her. Then we can call her for free. Yada yada yada. Okay. Then we will kill the one that deals more damage. Which is, again, usually the right choice. There we go. Oh, that doesn't restore 3 play points. Oh, we need to have played 7 loot cards first. Alright, cool. We'll attack this so that we can reduce the amount of bodies they have on board. And then we'll just save the Dread Pirate's flag for later. We're going to put down both Tidal Gunner and Deep Sea Scout, should it come to that. Or it can just be one or the other. But if my opponent puts down something spicy, we're going to put down the Stormback First Mate. Which, now that I'm saying it out loud, is probably the more correct choice over Tidal Gunner or Deep Sea Scout. But if my opponent doesn't play anything significant, we're just going to shoot them down. We're going to start shooting them down here. Alright. My opponent is thinking, so let's see what they're going to be up to. It could be a slew of things. Okay, yep. Barabaros has already done her job. She's only a removal spell. Alright, Flaming Glass, okay. So if I kill her, she will split into 2. And we drew into the Deep Sea Scout. Alright. Deal 6 damage on enemy follower. Should we just go for the Stormback First Mate first? Now that I'm thinking about it, he is 3, and then the succeeding ones are 3. But I believe we should just try and kill my opponent. At the very least, put my opponent very close. So we do these 2. So that happens. And then Dread Pirate's flag first. There we go. Then we draw 1 card. Then Gilded. Oh wait, no, not that one first. We'll give her Rush. There we go. Draw 1 card. Ultimate Hollow. That is cool. Wait, she can't be targeted? Question mark? Oh, can't be targeted by enemy effects. Oh no. But this doesn't exactly target. She doesn't exactly target, so that one. And now we can do this. Start of your turn. Okay, yep. Oh no, that is bad. Oh no, we're just gonna do this. And there we go. Alright, now we will fuse this just in case. We might not need an extra one, so we'll just fuse these 2. We need space in our hands, unfortunately. There we go. Hopefully that does not come back to bite me, but they're not exactly putting up too much of a presence right now, so at least we have the Goddess of Condemnation should the board get a little too wide. Although having Ultimate Bahamut means that is their win con, so they need to reduce his cost, because I believe Ultimate Bahamut costs like 13 play points, and they have to reduce his cost somehow. And his acceleration ability though is pretty decent at the very least. So opponent thinking here, okay, Mamitrazi. I respect that. So -5, -5 to all of my followers, and then gain 5, and then evolving her. Yep. That is to be expected. So we will take our 1 and be happy with it. Okay. At this point, I wouldn't do this just yet, unfortunately. So now we will play. Yeah, I believe that is it. We will. Dread Pirate's flag. Oh, we've already played enough. That is cool. So we will evolve him, reduce Dread Pirate's flag to 0.
超えてみせる
And we will wipe his board.
お嬢のために全てを捨てろ
Then we will play Dread Pirate's flag first. There we go.
行くぜ
沈めちゃ
And then we will swing into Mamidrazi. There we go. I want her to die anyway, so that's fine. Then with the boots, with the first mate.
う沈め
Attack again.
おかしら玉切れ
Go. Then again.
行くぜ
沈めちゃ
There we go. Yep. Yep. This is honestly all I ever wanted. Oh, not that one. Then we hear here
行く
again.
ぜ
And here again. Mamidrazi
Yeah,
is
but-
successfully eliminated.
わめけ
And
よ
that.
フラムのためなら
We'll use Pampa Summons
世界すべてが
as a way to
敵になっても構わない
Alright, so we have Uncle Rogers, which would have been way useful earlier in that turn, which would have dealt an additional 2 points of damage, and Stormlock First Mate has done his job. He eliminated an obscenely large threat in Mamidrazi, so okay, good job on you, mate. Now it's Uncle Rogers' turn to evolve. I'm not quite sure if my opponent was banking on
果てなき
Mamidrazi
翼
surviving. Okay,
断罪の刃
recovering all Evo points, so that's 2. And
白銀が
once
集う
they evolve, they will
道
gain,
違えども
they will
我らの意志
Oh,
yeah, that's fine because they've
世界の調和こそが
Yep.
私の望みだ
For defense.
神の
So
慈
he
悲だ
needs to be on the field for that to work. Okay, that is fine by me. Pampa summons, we honestly don't need that anymore. So we'll use Rogers
ハト
first.
海原
There we go.
砲を上げ挑め
Then that will put a goblet in hand, and we're honestly only doing this for his
伝
opponent.
説になるんだ
There we go. So
青海原は
we are
俺
at
様の庭
2 points.
沈め
There
ちゃうよ
we go. We will not do that first. We will play. We should just attack first. So we'll attack that.
おかしら玉切れ
Go. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. God damn it. For now, I believe we'll do this. We'll restore a bit of our life. So that's free. And then we will use a Gilded Boot to give him rush and deal 2 damage to my opponent. And then we will use Usurping Spine Blade
道はしません
to give the Fear of God on my opponent.
道はしま
Do
せん
that there. And ooh, okay. Gilded Blade will definitely finish the job here.
叶わぬ夢か
And then Uncle Roger,
Kaisen
he
da!
will be a sacrificial lamb for this one.
翼ある限
It's
り
for a greater cause, my dude. Alright. So now we have thoroughly crippled my opponent here. I'm not too sure about that. They could still have a couple of plays here. Their deck is a lot thicker than mine. I have been answering a lot of their threats. And let's see where else this goes. So, opponent is thinking about it. Whatever their next move is going to be, hopefully will impact the game here. Let's see. Okay, Degenerate Dragon. Alright, until the end of turn, change the cost of all follower cards. So, everything is now 0.
交われぬ
He'll
総局
literally barf out his whole
今
hand
一
right
つ
now.
に
Oh my god. Okay, yep.
熱よ
Evolving
うせよ
Flaming Glass.
二つの洞窟を
Okay,
今一つ
start
に
for 9, ow. But, okay, that's all you're gonna do? Really, opponent? Okay, so this adds 4 cards to hand, which is something we honestly do not need at this current juncture. But we're going to
彼方の
give my
無限
opponent a
抱け
hard
ぬ
time
方へ
first. There you go. So -5, so that he won't be able to attack too profitably. And let's gamble. Let's see what Haggler's Gambit has for us. A Bellringer Angel. You wanna know what's better than a Bellringer Angel for 2? A Bellringer Angel for 1. There we go. So we need a Tidal Gunner ASAP. Hopefully we'll find an opportunity where we can set one down, but well, we're gonna see.
お前の肉はね
Mamidrazi, okay,
咀嚼するの
fine.
救えなかっ
Well, please only be taking damage compared to what is
さようなら
what was
自分をはまれ
supposedly
る恐
lethal.
怖
So this is far more manageable. Okay, yep. Bahamut. Yep. Okay. Yep. Eliminating all but 4 cards in my deck. I believe that's what it does. Yeah. If you've used invoke this card, banish cards until there are 5 cards left. So I may not have a win con by this point, but god damn it, I will still try. Okay. Yep. And we still have a tidal gunner. Holy shit.
潮風が恋しいね
We still have a tidal gunner after all that. I don't even know if we can even kill him though. So we'll first use Ultimate Hollow. We'll target the
恐れて乾く策だ
and then we will this will still leave a decent amount of space in hand for Grand Acquisition to do its thing. Surprisingly. Alright, so Grand Acquisition, that will give us exactly 4 cards. Now we will use Gilded Boots. I mean, this is my Hail Mary play. I don't think it will kill my opponent, but at the very least I give him a hard time. Okay, then we do this. There we go. Finally hitting Bahamut for once. And then we'll use this on Bahamut. And then finally a Gilded Necklace on Bahamut. And I will allow my opponent the satisfaction of killing me here.
最高だ
Your go, opponent, and good job holding out for this long. And summoning Gil Lilies. Just rubbing salt on the wound there. So let's just move on to the next duel. Okay, let's see what my next opponent has. And, ooh, Bloodcraft. Oh dear. Oh god, I haven't seen this leader yet, so I have no idea what they're playing.
知りませんよ
That voice is making me very uncomfortable already. We might not need these, but we definitely need Glistering Angel pronto. Because Bloodcraft tends to invoke a lot of their stuff out, especially in the early game. And having a 5-3 on turn 2 is sometimes insurmountable. So let's see what kind of flavor of Bloodcraft my opponent is on here. Let's see. They are thinking about it pretty goddamn hard. And let's see what my opponent has. My hand isn't looking too hot. Unless of course my first draw gets me something. Okay, this is something. It's a okay. Gifted Bloodkin is an expected card out of the deck, so that is fine. Deep Sea Scout is not what I was expecting, but okay, sure. I'd rather kill the bats here rather than swing in for one because they're going to evolve that thing and it's going to basically do the same thing anyway. So we'll try to draw one and we got a gunner. Alright, that's likely for next turn. Then we'll play Deep Sea Scout on turn 2 and draw our 1 card off of it. Because had I played Deep Sea Scout there, he would have just used the Scorpion to kill it, right? Pronto. So I'm not going to leave it hanging out there. In case they do play something that will threaten me, which is honestly very likely. We have Barbaros as removal. Rogers is a later thing. I might play Rogers first over Barbaros if my opponent is going to be playing it this slowly. Draw 1 card. We do have 2 Haggler's Gambits, so I believe it's just fine to sacrifice this particular scout. It may be a problem. And I'm just realizing now my opponent may be on Handless Blood, which is a tier-ish deck in the format. Oh yeah, this is definitely Handless Blood. Yep. Paracelese, yep, having 4 copies, yep, okay, yep, so we'll have Paracelese next turn, unless I draw Glistering Angel right freaking now, okay. We'll gamble, hopefully get Glistering Angel, we did not, oh god, so we will definitely see Paracelese next turn, so we'll just play the Deep Sea Scout for 3 because its cost was reduced by 0. We'll give it Rush because we can. And another Tidal Gunner. Not exactly what I would have ordered, but we'll just offer her up because she's going to die very, very soon anyway. Might as well cover our losses while we can. And, yep, invoking Paracelese.
悪魔こうなり
3
人をつな
damage
ぎ
isn't a lot, but it's her enter the battlefield trigger that is absurdly painful. It drains you for 3 and then restores 3 to the opponent. That is insane value. Oh my god. So it's basically a 6-point life swing. And if you're familiar with Siege Rhino from Magic the Gathering, it's basically the same thing. Although this Siege Rhino is very, very hot. So there's that. So they drew their card. Okay, yep. Urias's Revelry, just straight up 3 damage. 0 play point, 3 damage. We could be dead very, very soon because the blood-fed flower bed is doing a lot of goddamn work right now. We could be dead very, very soon here. We could just play with this first, but we sadly cannot do too much. So, their board is pretty goddamn set up, unfortunately. I have no idea how we're going to get out of this. If I do find a way out of this, I'll let you guys know. But otherwise, we're just going to move on to the next duel. Alright, let's see what my next opponent has for us here. And it's another Dragoncraft opponent. Hello! Hello, fellow dragon. Let's see what we have here. Deep Sea Scout in opening hand is always nice. We might not need Bellringer Angel. We're not going to put back Hagner's Gambit here. We're gonna need it. I put back a Bellringer, and I get a Bellringer back. How dare you, deck? Oh my god. Sometimes variance is a bitch in and of itself. So let's see my... I'm assuming my Dragon for opponent doesn't have any turn 1 plays, unless, of course, this is Big Butts Dragons again, in which case they do have turn 1 plays, but we're going to find out soon enough. Okay, you have a bullet bike. That's interesting. I don't know what build this is, so we're going to find out together here, guys. So... okay, I'm assuming he's going to swing into this one, not grant me the ability to draw any more cards, or if he's soul reading like crazy, he probably surmises that I have another Deep Sea Scout in hand waiting at the ready. Yeah, I mean, that's always the right choice. Eliminate the Deep Sea Scout whenever possible, because she's one hell of a card advantage engine. So that's that. Then we draw our 1. She's going to die anyway, so we'll just accept her fate, and then we'll just Sudoku her into the mechanic. There we go. Okay, Ayla Dragon Knight. So it just gained an empty play point or on legs. Cool. So what do we do from here? We're gonna gamble first. Let's see what we get off the top. Sunny Day Encounter. Ooh, that's actually really good. We'll use Pump of Summons first. See what we get. Deep Sea Scout. Okay, now we use Sunny Day. Do we get Stormwrath First Mate? Alright, that is something for later, in case my opponent decides to go into die. I'm a Bellringer believer as well. An opponent after my own heart. That is fine. We're not going to be able to summon Goddess of Condemnation just yet. Okay, Dragon Rearing. Is this an older deck? Question mark. This may just be an older deck. We're gonna find out soon enough here. So we're gonna do that. We're not going to attack at all. We're just gonna draw cards here. Glistening Angel. Okay, that's a blocker we definitely needed. We're going to put a Goblet just in case, and then we'll put a Glistening Angel. Alright, now I mean, she could attack, but I'm not going to. It's just a waste of time. We're just going to ignore. Okay, Razia. Okay, sure. This is definitely a build of Dragoncraft. I haven't seen this build just yet. What does Razia do while my opponent thinks about their actions? Last words, deal X damage at enemy leader. X equals to this follower's attack, and then for Clash, so gain +1/+0. So she's always swinging for 3. Alright. Okay, Dragon Rearing, sure. This feels old school, honestly. Okay, so Bellringer Angel, giving her +3, sure. Actually, oh, okay, just a +2. Okay, sure. Let's see what else my opponent does here. Okay, yep, dealing to that. That's fine. That's to be expected. Skipping me entirely, or rather, skipping the scout entirely. Really? Are you sure about that, opponent? So the goddess might not make it at that point. So no, we can make it work. We're going to fuse the other goddess, and then we'll fuse one of the gilded boots. So I'm going to put my opponent on notice, because that's a possibility next turn. Then we will eliminate, or at the very least, deal a lot of damage to the one with the highest toughness. There we go. Oh, gilded necklace. That is actually fine. So we'll do this. Hard. That's a type of gunner. We will use a goblet. Restore 2. Draw 1. Excuse me. Pump summons is something. First we'll eliminate this. We've thrown enough cards. Fine sending her there. Yep. Ouch. We take 4 from that, but she was going to deal damage anyway. This is only 5 damage, and that's honestly really scary. We're gonna put down a blocker for now. We're going to use pump summons after the fact. Or if my opponent does put down another follower, we're going to use the Goddess of Condemnation here. We will indeed use the Goddess of Condemnation. Since his toughness is exactly 5. So we're going to use Goddess of Condemnation. Wipe the board here, make it a little cleaner. There we go. So they'll get -5, -5. Clean house. Yeah, they draw a card. That is completely fine. And we'll pass it back to my opponent. There we go. I believe we should just use a Tidal Gunner next turn. Because I feel like we've been on the back foot like this entire game, and my opponent already ramped twice. So we're not exactly in a good position here. Where we need to play one of the Tidal Gunners, at least put pressure on my opponent. So let's see. Another Roy, ramping again. So now they have a full 10 PP. Okay, evolving Roy, okay. Goddess, sure, that's fine. That is completely fine by me. Play a Tidal Gunner. That will add a Gilded Goblet. Should we play 2? Probably not. We probably should, all things considered, because this is 1 and 2. And then 3 from this. But that would leave it just a little too vulnerable. Alright, so we're going to do what is called a so that happens. We're going to evolve this follower. We're going to make Gilded Necklace cost 0. So Stormrack first mate. There we go. And then we will use that, give it to the gunner. Deal 1. Then that happens, and then that. There we go. And then we will restore even more life. Then, just in case they have something, or we should just try to advance our board state, because although they do have 5 cards in hand and it could potentially be game ending, we're just going to use a Glycerin Angel. Just in case something really bad happens here. We managed to eliminate a couple of threats, but I am still not feeling good about our position here. Okay, Building your Angel, sure. Opponent is surviving. Captain Dragwood. Cool. So he'll summon a Wind Blast Dragon because he has enhanced it. There we go. Yep. Glistering Angel has done her job. Alright, that is cool. So, oh, wait. We shouldn't do that yet because we drew into Grand Acquisition. So we play that one first. So that's exactly 4 cards in hand. Okay. I think we can kill our opponent this turn. We just play another Tidal Gunner. We'll add Dread Pirate's Flag. That is completely fine. We should just quote-unquote sacrifice yeah, we should just attack the Bellringer. I mean, they draw 1 card, yeah, but we don't have any blockers whatsoever. So Gilded Boots on the new one because that is fine. Actually on this because that Mother. Then Gilded Boots, because we can.
そこだ
行くぜ
そこだ
Oh, then one more.
そこだ
I believe my opponent is
Suck
just dead, question mark. We restore more life.
そこだ
行くぜ
そこだ
Mother. Oh yeah, they are definitely dead.
そこだ
見事なもんだ
Oh yeah, this deck. When it kicks ass, it definitely kicks ass. Again, this deck is all about picking your spots and knowing when to strike. So, that brings us to the conclusion. So let's go to the end. Let's just go to the end screen. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and it performed about how I expected it to. It definitely folds to other strategies, especially if they're able to set up well. I mean, granted, that's like for all strategies. If they manage to set their shit up, this deck definitely struggles because its damage average is only about 2 to 3. And it doesn't get any higher than that, unfortunately. You have to jump through a couple of hoops in order to eliminate some of the bigger butted followers in this game. And it costs a lot of resources in order to do so. But if you do play your cards right, and again, as I've been saying all throughout this video, hold back. Know only when to play your cards. Do not overextend with this deck. Unlike the Dragoncraft deck that I have, that deck, if you have the opportunity to go ham, go absolutely ham, because it's a combo deck more than it is a control deck. But yeah, I will still be rocking this deck for as long as I can until it gets power crapped out of this game, and I just dust it all, and then I create a completely new deck all over again. Of note, as of the recording of this video, the Shadowverse team has announced that there will be a new set coming out at the end of the month. I have not seen the previews just yet. I don't exactly know when the previews will begin, but it's supposedly during the last week of March, and then the release of the new set will be at the end of the month. So look forward to that, and let's see if it shakes up the meta somewhat. So if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.